ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Patricia Rogers, and we look forward to seeing you on March the 20th from 11:45 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are bringing our communities together. Jeff Klein, he's the founder of Speakers Co-op. We're joining with Phil Harrington. He's the founder of The Connector. And then we're combining forces with Women's Prosperity Network, Trish Carr and Susan Weiner, and yours truly, Unity and Service. We are bringing you the tea. Register at the link below this video. Impact Speakers 2026.eventbrite.com. Reserve your seat, and guess what? The seats are on up. I'm Dr. Patricia Rogers, Visibility Strategist, and I am the CEO of Unity and Service, where people need people.
Crazy good time.
Yay! And we are back. If you're just chiming in, you're here at the Time to Shine Happiness Show with yours truly, the BBs, myself, Barbara J. Beckley, and Barbara Ellison. And we have the wonderful queen herself, extraordinaire Miss LaWanna Bradford in the room. Hello, lady. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara, for having me.
No, that's...
You are most welcome. Pleasure.
Yes, it's a pleasure. It's an honor. It's funny because we always get that. They be like, thank you, Barbara, and thank you, Barbara. We got to see. So we try to figure out how, when we're talking, which Barbara. But LaWanna, we all know each other here, so I know exactly we'll get through it with the two Barbaras. But anyway, lady, we truly honor and adore you, and we're so happy for you to be on the Time to Shine Happiness Show. I know it's been a minute. And what we usually like to do, lady, is we always like that backstory, like, all of the accolades that you do, but we want to make sure that people know where you came from and how important it is and what you do, not just for yourself, and you're branding yourself so wonderful, but you're using, and I know there's a system you're going to talk about in a minute of how you got to that point and how you're helping others, but we want to hear how you got there first.
That's a loaded question. I've been around a while, so where do you want me to start?
Well, I know one thing with being, a strategist, because you've helped me out tremendously times with that, but I know that's a gift. That's like it's just like a gift you have. Like, how I tell people you have those gifts. You just, she could look at any company. I'm just telling everybody right now and just put a whole strategy thing for them. And they'll be like, oh, you did that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good starting point. So, it is a gift I have. I like to call it sight, where I'm able to connect the dots. I naturally see things in patterns. So when I look at life, my lens sees patterns, and that may sound a little weird, but that's just how I see the world around me. And business is no different. So when I graduated from college, my first job, I actually got into strategy, but as a statistician. So my role back then was to look at changes that businesses were making. At this point, it was Department of Defense, coming up with new information technologies, how that was going to impact the business at large. And just, again, seeing those connections. And as a statistician, I was developing models. So, again, just understanding how the pieces all fit together. And from there, I really started to develop my passion for business and understanding how business worked from end to end, from whether it's that dream and that vision, how you actualize it, to even the downside of business, when you may have to file bankruptcy because it's just not working, and everything in between. And so that's really where I came about from a professional standpoint. As a strategist, as a financial analyst, I'm certified in both areas. And then coming into business, I've had a business ever since I was 17. But my first, what I consider really big business, big brick and mortar, was shortly after college. I my business partner, who is still my partner today, Rick Spann, and I, we developed built a licensed sporting apparel store. And for those of you who don't know, we are in Super Bowl season. So licensed sporting apparel is all your major leagues, your collegiate leagues. And so providing the jerseys, the hats, the paraphernalia. And the most exciting and biggest accomplishment, I would say, back then in my green bean days, I didn't know a lot about business, but we knew enough to be dangerous. We actually built it to $1 million company. And we sponsored a welterweight boxer, Andrew Maynard, against Tommy Hearns. Those of you who know anything about the sporting industry, at Caesar's Palace. So we were doing pretty good for 20-year-old kids. And then from there, I ended up getting married, and my husband and I started our consulting firm. And now I have 2 businesses. At that time, let me say I was a dualpreneur, still working corporate and as well as a business. And then from there, after my husband and I switched lanes, going from the corporate side to doing entrepreneurship full-time, up to 2 companies, the Bradford Group, which is a commercial investment mortgage company celebrating 19 years. And then the Bradford Group Consulting, we are going on 14 years of business. So that's me in a nutshell. A lot more to pepper in there, but I've been around a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, but I love the fact you talked that you were continuously growing, and that's what Barbara and I talked about in the first half. It's like, be continuously growing and don't be afraid to try something new. And I can almost imagine, I can almost say without question that you probably had some things that didn't quite work while you were growing, and yet you're here.
Yeah,
exactly.
And and don't let the things that don't go quite as well stop you.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. I was going to add on before LaWanna was going to continue that. It's nice that we always talk about, you can either make a choice. Either you're going to, say, I'm going to do this, keep it moving, or I want to say, maybe this is not it. I'm just going to keep it on this little whatever. And you could tell in every moment, even the down valleys that you had, you still was like, you know what? No, I'm just not going to let this take me. I'm going to take it. It's like somebody told me just a few days ago, she had a picture, and it was so awesome. She had a picture of a hand, and it was global. It has a global in there, and it had a little chaos in the middle of it. And I said, well, what does that mean? I asked her, I said, what does that mean? She said, I'm taking my low valleys, my catastrophes in my life, and I'm taking it by the hand. And I was like, wow. And just to see that, and I could see, when I hear that, I see like you, LaWanna, and me, how we do that. It's just like either life can take you by it or you can take it. You have to make that decision.
Yeah, exactly. And I always tell people, when you're in business, if you're in it long enough, you're going to go through some valleys. I mean, you may have lawsuits, you may have customer complaints, you may have a takeover. It just all depends on what your business is doing and how it's growing. But the point is, you have to be agile, flexible, and adaptable. And Barbara's heard me say this all the time. It's repositioning to remain relevant. And that's one of the things that I talk to both billion-dollar companies about, as well as small businesses. How do you do that? I mean, right now, I know you have a global audience, but for the world is looking at the United States right now. There's a lot of changes that impact our country, but it also has an impact to other countries. And our small businesses are the engine to our economies, plural. And so many of them are kind of wondering, well, what is this going to mean to me? If we have tariffs on this end, is it going to impact my suppliers, which then I'm going to have to pass those costs on to my customers. So there's a lot of buzz, a lot of concern. But I always tell people, the one thing that's inevitable is change. It's constant. It's always going to happen. So get used to it, buckle up for the ride, and control what you can control.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
And I love that you said that, LaWanna, because control what you can, but let go of the stuff you can't. Don't try to hold on to the things that you have no control over. And don't you find that sometimes so many people do that? They try, but if I just, it's like, yeah, no, let it go.
Yeah, if I could just get this square peg
into this round hole,
I'm gonna do it. You'd be like,
yeah. And that's, and that's where stress comes, and look at what it does to our health, our mental, our physical, emotional health. Life's too short.
Yeah.
Let it go. As Barbara always says, find your way to woosah, get your anchor, and just move, just flow.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up, Barbara. I mean, Barbara, I was about to know Barbara would say something, LaWanna, about health, because I know I've been saying it on our show lately that, last year was like I had like three in a row, like boom, boom, boom. And I had to really be honest with myself and say, okay, where did all this come from? First I was just like, wait a minute. This is crazy. Then I was to blame a little bit. Then somebody said, well, you're getting older. I'm like, you know what? I want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I know people in their 70s and 90s that are more whatever than I am. So it's not that. Something, the core, there's a root here that's causing me that back to back to back. And I found out that I wasn't loving on me and I wasn't taking care of me. I was staying up late, burning both candles at both ends. I was letting a lot of stress get to me. Didn't even realize it was stress, but it was. And just got sick. So you're so right that, we only live, we need to enjoy our lives. And a lot of times we can stop the madness of some things that we're doing.
Yeah, I do strategic insights where I come on most days and just gives quick little tips on things to consider. And one day I came on and I just told people, stop working, just stop. And I got so many comments like, what do you mean stop? I'm like, really? Let it go. Stopping for a day is not going to make or break your business. It really is. It's not.
You got everybody alarmed.
They're like, what's going on?
What you mean stop working? Oh my God, I gotta stop. See, right there shows you that they needed to hear that because they're just like,
Yeah, and one of the things that you and I have talked about before was one time I was absolutely struggling, and Barb knows what I'm going to say, absolutely struggling with something and struggling with it. And finally it was like, okay, Lord, why am I struggling with this so much? What is wrong with me that I'm struggling with this so much? And the answer came into my being and said, because you're not supposed to be doing it. Oh, what?
That's a good point. That's huge.
And that was huge for me. And so now if I'm really starting to struggle with something, okay, Lord, I mean, I've gotten much faster at saying, okay, am I supposed to be doing this? Yes or no? If I am supposed to be doing it, then okay, Barbara, buckle down and learn.
Right.
Perfect. But if you're not supposed to be doing it, like you just said before, let go of the things that you can't control.
Exactly. Yeah, we shouldn't be spending our time trying to push that wet noodle up a mountain.
Yeah.
And I have pushed a lot of wet noodles. I've been trying to push. I've been there.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Yeah. And then what's so bad about it, sometimes I'm going to tell myself, it's not maybe 1 or 2 hours that I've been trying to push that noodle. It's been sometimes 9 or 10. Okay, everybody talk about me after that. Because I've been, I was like, I gotta get this. Because in my mind, I'm like, I gotta, it's always, I want to, accomplish it. I want to get it. I want to get it. And then when I see somebody else do it, it seems like you push me more. It's like, they did it. I can do it too. Let me get it. And then all this time, and like I just said, somebody like LaWanna, I could have gave over to her. She finished it 30 minutes. And this has happened in real time with me and her on some project. Yeah. I give it to her. She's done. She sent it to me. She said, here you go. And I spent 10 hours. I'm like, oh. Yep. So that you have to think about, what what things that you said that you need to be doing, and what things you can delegate and be open, have the trust factor to a certain extent. You have to have the trust factor there, that if you give it to somebody else, they're going to do it, and then it's going to help you in the long run, because now you're going to focus on things that you kind of should be focusing on more than just, that other thing that took 10 hours. Yeah.
Well, I like what you said about the trust, and I think it reflects back to you. If you have to do everything, you feel like you have to have oversight, you have to micromanage everything, you're the one that has the issue. And you have to do some introspection. Why is it? Why am I so resistant in accepting, different ideas, different ways of doing things? Why do I have to dictate how everything is done, and I have to oversee everything? Because when you spend so much time doing that, you're not operating in your zone of genius.
Right. You're not doing what you're called to do, because you're trying to micromanage everybody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a certain thing that, I going back to, I use myself so I don't get nobody else upset. That there's a reason why there's a deeper, and I always say this when I'm talking, there's that deep-rooted thing going on somewhere, why you're holding on to everything, because maybe you do have trust issues with people, or maybe you were hurt, or something happened back in the past somewhere where you did give somebody something and they just totally just whatever. So now you're just like this, and you're like, no, yeah, I can't even send an invitation for you for somebody. No, you might send the wrong email. It gets to that point that you have to really let this thing go. But you have to, first of all, deal with yourself on why you're not releasing certain things. Yeah.
And if I can just add something there, because for me, I have such a high standard of excellence. I think growing up in a military household, it just was. But I had to learn to have grace, right? It's like, let the team know, okay, this is a standard. This is what we're all working toward. But everyone may not work the way LaWanna works, and it's okay. And I found that when I give people grace and latitude, they rise to the occasion every time. But if I am just, this disciplinarian, it's got to be this way at this time, then people start to work smaller instead of expansively. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And chances are they get less done because they're not as productive, because I think it kind of settles in on each level as it goes down, because as they're feeling the pressure, you're feeling the pressure, they're feeling your pressure, and now the person under the job that they're doing under the person under them is feeling the pressure, and it just absolutely. One time I did a study on productivity, and that was one of the biggest things that they talked about, is that the management has to trust the person underneath, and that person has to trust the person underneath, and make sure they're well trained. Absolutely, but give them grace while you're training them.
Yeah.
Right, and also making sure, if I can just say this, that everyone's on the same page. Like if there is a vision, that everyone's bought into it. I remember Barbara and I had a conversation about an individual we were working with, and I thought everyone was on the same page. And this person said, "This feels like a job to me." And I'm thinking, a job? My gosh, this is a movement. This is exciting. But for them, they had never bought in. But I didn't take the time to check to see if they had bought in. I just made the assumption you're there, you're contributing, but they resented it.
Right. Yeah, and that's where you really have to say, oh my God, if we get to that point, we do need to see if you're on the same spot. And it's okay for people to say, you know what, maybe I'm not on this certain vision, and I'm gonna bow back, or I'm gonna leave, and that's okay, because that happens in life. Things changes. You have to do your thing. They got to do theirs, and you don't want somebody on your team that really is not on that vision. So you just got to make those choices. They have to make those choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Miss Queen, I want to get back, because you did throw in some, and I want you to talk a little bit more before we run out of time about the R3 system. That's been, to me, that's like a movement.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear. That's so.
See, you got us now.
Yeah, I'm real excited because this, and I'm bringing up Super Bowl again, because last year at this time I was actually at Super Bowl in Vegas. And it was my first huge debut of the R3 system. And since then, it's just growing like wildfire. In fact, this month alone, we're only in day 4. I've already had 5 interviews, 5 on major networks and about the R3 system, because it's a change management system, but it's also strategy. So just in a nutshell, strategic planning is very simply put is this is where I am, this is where I want to go, and then I come up with something that I hope will get me there. But where the R3 comes in, that's sort of like the secret sauce. It's saying, okay, that's great. We have this continuum here. But what if there's a lot of yuck happening? What if there's changes that you don't want to have happen are happening all around you? We can all relate to that because that's what's going on right now. What do you do?
What do you do?
Well, the first thing is you don't move. You refocus. And the refocus isn't solely about, well, yes, that's the vision. That's where I want to go. Because if it were that simple, everyone would be rocking and rolling in business.
Right.
It's more than that. And I'm going to simplify all of this, but I unpackage and show folks how to do this. But it goes to really understanding who you are, all your gifts, all your talents, the resources and partnerships that you have. Looking for those intersects. So think about that Venn diagram, those overlaps. You don't want to focus on all the outline parts. You want to focus on that sweet spot, the intersect, right? So now you have that laser focus. You become very myopic. From there, you're able to truly see the opportunity in the chaos, because now all the noise, all the distortion from all the other stuff happening sort of fades away. So it's like really getting to that in not just this mindset exercise, and I'm not taking that lightly, but really from a business application standpoint. Once you have that, once you're refocused, right, and you're committed to that, now the thing is, okay, well, I'm here, but there's still all this change going on. You have to identify, when we say reframe, that's the second R, am I doing what works? It may have worked 2 years ago, but it may be feeling a little difficult now. Why is that? Why was it ease before? Now it's very stagnant, or feels like it's like staccato. What's going on? Well, it's okay to give yourself permission to say, you know what? That was good, but I'm going to reframe. Notice I didn't say pivot, because pivot means you've turned direction. Right. So if you're refocused and you know, yes, this is where I'm going, if you're pivoting, you're not turning back on where you said you're going, right? So you're still that laser focus, but reframing is how I'm doing is it's going to shift. Like Martin Luther King Jr. said, what is your life's blueprint? So the R3 works in business and life. And when you develop your own framework, your own lane, if you will, you've established the parameters, the rules. You determine who's in that lane and who's not. And if someone's in your lane that it's not working well, it doesn't feel right, then as George Fraser says, you bless and release them. Right. But the amazing thing about this lane concept, this reframing, is the ownership that comes with it. Because when you reframe something, when you design it, think about that architect, that building's going up, that they have that blueprint and their name is all on it, right? Coming soon. They have basically planted their flag in whatever it is they're about to develop until it comes to pass. And that's what you're doing when you are reframing. And you realize that no one is in your lane but you only compete with you. And that's a different mindset, because we are always taught in business, what's the competition doing? Yeah. That's just another person in another lane who happens to be selling a burger. I'm selling burgers too, but I'm selling burgers in my lane, right? In the way I want to do it, to the audience I want to focus on. And then the recommit, for me, that was the most difficult part of it, because reconnecting is about recommitting. I can intend all day long. Intention doesn't get me anywhere. Intention comes with excuses. right? Because I can set, I want to do this, but any excuse will do. Well, this happened, that happened. But when you are committed, as Abraham Hicks says, when you are tapped in, tuned, and sold out for whatever that thing is, nothing ever distraction. You sound the same. Your walk is the same. I mean, if people listen to me now, I've been saying, and you go back and look at my videos 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, same message, bigger stage. It's the only difference, right? So that's the R3. It's about refocusing, designing your lane, reframing, and then reconnecting is that commitment, because people follow commitment. They want leaders who commit. And I believe at that point, that's when opportunity intersects with your vision. Success is inevitable. May not be when you want it,
right?
But it will be there.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Great analogy. Yeah, great wording. Because it's absolutely true.
Great
absolutely.
System.
I mean, that's a mic drop, as Barb says. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, and I love how you can use it in any fashion, like you said, LaWanna. You can, not in the business, but you can even use it in your personal life. I mean, it's something that system can work in any kind of capacity that you want to do.
Right. It was actually born out of my personal tragedy. It wasn't born from a business lane. It was born from LaWanna's life of hell and coming back out of that. And I realized, wait a minute, there's a process that I've used. It seemed like everything that was hitting me from divorce to, my brother leaving me in business to the 2007, 2008, needing mom and dad to literally take care of my mortgage so I wouldn't be homeless, being sued by Chase Bank, diagnosed with cancer. I thought, I'm applying a certain principle every single time. And I just took the time to start comparing it. And I thought, oh, I see what I'm doing. So everything I'm sharing with you, I do literally daily now. It's automatic. It's just like, issue happens. If I feel that tension, right? It's like, okay, let me pause. Let me quickly do a R3. What can I control? Okay, what can't I control? Let it go. Give it to God. Next.
Yeah. And LaWanna, this is absolutely, you have put, and I think we all, in some, those of us that are in the personally developing our personal selves, I can see the times that I have done exactly what, but I never had the words for it, of what, and yet I can look back and go, you know what, that kind of, what LaWanna just said just kind of fits.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple of instances where, oh yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And that's when you have the right system. When something and just like, oh, I'm gonna,
And see, like you were blessed to where it became intuitive in you, but that's your lane, right? That's your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Most people don't have it. So now it's like, how do I give you this tool so you can have life and business success? That's what it is at the end of the day for me. That's my why.
Yeah, I love that why. And what I like about it too is, like you said, LaWanna, a lot of people don't. And I'm one of those people that I was on the personal end, I was kind of trying to work things out. But then the business part, I really needed this system too. So I was like, oh, it's like a light bulb came up when you were telling me about this R3. I was like, oh, I didn't. So you just framed it. Okay, reframe. See, it's part of the R3 in a way that now it makes it so. And I'm not trying to dumb myself down or anything, but made it so. It's so you can tell it to anybody and they understand it. It's like that's how it was. That's why I love this system, because I don't know who you're talking to when you talk to them, LaWanna, about it. It's really understandable, and sometimes it might have been there in their mind, but they just didn't know, like how Barbara said, how to put it together. Yeah.
How to apply it.
Yeah,
how to apply it.
Yes. Yeah. And the beauty is it's customizable. So this isn't an in the box, off the shelf thing. I'm giving you principles. Right. But all three of us could sit right now and go through a 2-day exercise and walk away with a completely different blueprint, because it's our unique lives, our experiences. You're pulling from all of this, but in a way, in a systematized way. So that's what I bring to you. I create order in the chaos.
Yes, because there's a lot of, like you said, especially now. Well, it's been, we're not gonna. I know I'm not gonna go down. That's a whole nother show. But you understand.
But I mean, it's anything. I mean, just life can be happening. Life is lifing, right? Whatever it is.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. How do you find your center of control?
Right. Yeah. Wow. I wanted to ask another question, but I know that's going to go into some more time. And I'm like, dang, I want to ask this question. But
we're just going to have to bring LaWanna back.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. And she has so much wealth to share and wisdom, and I love it. And like I said, please reach out to this wonderful lady. LaWanna, can you tell them exactly where they can reach out to you?
All things social media by my name, LaWanna Bradford, or my website, LaWannaBradford.com. Pretty easy.
See? Why make things difficult? Like you said, just relevant to people. The name, right? Wow. So with that, Barbara, any last words? And Queen LaWanna, thank you again for coming on our show. We're honored, and we would love to have you back when you have the time. I know Barbara works on that end of it, so I know she'll definitely be contacting you to see how your schedule looks. But Barbara, any last thoughts?
I think the biggest thing is just take to heart what LaWanna just talked about, because it can apply to, and don't be ashamed. That's not the right word. Be aware that it can be something small that's going on in your life, something medium, or something big. And yet the same process applies. So embrace it. Start with something small.
Yeah, and learn from that.
And then learn and tackle the bigger things.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Well, okay. Thank you both. I appreciate the time.
We appreciate you, Queen. And again, we come on every Wednesday morning, 8:00 Central Time, 9:00 Eastern Time. I always got to think about those time zones. So we will see you next Wednesday with another special guest. But as we always say, what you always say, Barbara?
Because make happiness the norm rather than the exception. Absolutely. And it's a choice every day.
Yes. See you next week. Bye.
Business and Financial Raw Talk, a no-holds-barred forum for leaders and innovators with award-winning business strategist and financial analyst, LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group. With Raw Talk, we are empowering women to rise and succeed in business and finances and improve the world for the next generation. Get ready to get raw and real. Live each Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on e360tv.com.